Alrighty, so there is a brand new update on Pets Go. Now, this is actually very similar. If not, a lot of people might say this is mining 2.0, but that's okay because today we are going to be stealing items from the little booths. So right now we do have somebody over here stealing some oranges, some apples, some pineapples, and a banana. We have another one who's stealing potions. Some other players over here stealing blocks. Nobody's stealing the enchants that are stuck over here. The coin bags, some random little things, and of course, if you make it to the very last area, right over here, this is where all the good stuff is at. Now, this is through the exclusive pack that they currently have that you guys just saw like open up, so it made it look like it was super exaggerated, but still. It probably took me about, if not 30 minutes to just basically get over into the last area, and that's even if you actually take that long. Now, what I do believe is what helped me out basically get to the very end quicker are a lot of the scrolls that you do get from this area. So let's go ahead and talk about this update and see what we could do. So what I am currently using within this area here is a emerald pick. Now, obviously there are better ones out there that you can go ahead and obtain, but because it is so early on in the game right now for these specifically, these are going to be the most common that you're going to see inside of the plaza right now, with the diamond and the most exclusive one being the hardest to find and inflated like crazy. So, of course, it's going to be a little difficult, so I would give it some time before you actually go out into the trade hub and even attempt to buy these. 2, you'll notice that the cooldown period for this is similar to the Titanic one inside of the mining section. Obviously, because we're not here to mine a Titanic, we're basically here to mine loot. Now, I'll explain the loot stuff later on, and we're currently basically seeing absolutely everything in real time, so yes, you might notice that it is just a little slow, and the progression is obviously going to be a little slow for players out there as well. But because this is the very last area, that's fine. Now, what you will notice is either 1, because you are using the emerald little pick, you are going to notice the character missing a lot and you being stunned. Now, this doesn't really do anything as far as like your hit chances or anything other than the fact that you're just going to be a little slower. Now, of course, a lot of this does take a huge play on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to get chests? Are you trying to get loot? What are you trying to do exactly inside of the game? As you go down to the previous tier areas like the little stalls, you'll notice that the speed is a lot more quicker. You're not missing as often. If you're missing at all because you are using a better upgrade pick, it's going to be totally dependent on how you want to play basically. And these little currencies are going to make a huge difference on what you're going to exactly do in the game. And because, like I said previously before, because the new items are introduced like the new chests, whatever you choose to do, obviously you're going to see a lot of people farming the chests itself to go inside of the plaza and sell for people that are actually trying to get better things, right? That's primarily the goal that everybody's probably focusing on, is which stall are you going to want to basically focus on? And that's primarily what you're going to have to figure out and see what you're going to try to do inside of the game right now. Here at the very last area, I could just stay here and just get a ton of mythical artifacts, right? And just eventually just go to the thieving merchant and buy some chests, right? Well, I could technically do that, but I'm only going to be able to afford just a few of them, right? So what's the next best option? So the legendary artifact is 160 of whatever this is for this specific chest, which is the legendary one, right? So that's what we're going to have to focus on, is the next previous one prior before that. Of course, you will get some misses here and there, but that's absolutely fine because it kind of does make up for the fact that you're not going to be getting it as often compared to the most latest one at the very end. And of course, you'll notice that you're going to end up getting a ton of these. So if you start seeing that, it might be time to actually go down a tier. Kind of just match up what the actual tier is and see what works out. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and see what ends up happening. So it looks like I get it through this one right here. So the 4th one down. So technically I could just relax here for a little bit because it doesn't really matter which one I actually go to, because guess what? Because I'm already level 90 and this is through using mastery potions, which cost me realistically, if we want to be technical about all of this, is before the update hit, I ended up buying a ton of these, around 50 million worth in value. If I want to be technical about the amount, at least at the very minimum 50 million, just so I can go ahead and hit the minimal amount of, let's say, level 90. I hit level 85 with around 300 or so mastery potions. I kind of wish that I had the exact amount because I wasn't sure, but I do know that I ended up spending around 42 million on on all of it. And I'm estimating 50 million if I want to go ahead and just guesstimate how much it took to basically get to that extra additional 5. So I could just sit here and just grind a ton of legendary artifacts to eventually go back into the merchant. Now keep in mind though, if you do decide to move or this whole section refreshes, the currency could quite possibly change. I let the merchant basically refresh and you'll notice that a new set of items are actually in now. So it looks like the legendary chest actually stayed the same, but the mythical actually ended up changing to an egg. Now, I guess this is totally dependent if you want to get like a ton of eggs and if you don't mind the eggs and if you choose to sell them and if you find it to be worth it to sell, then that's up to you as well. I would personally say for the chest to go ahead and get and either use or sell, but for me specifically, I'm gonna go after the legendary ones. Whether that's gonna go ahead and be for personal usage or what, I find this to be a little bit more easier to at least get a better pick, because right now it's too hard to find the diamond one because it's so early in the game. However, it's gonna take time again to go ahead and accumulate these organically. The one thing that I did notice is the very last area where you can go ahead and steal. I did end up getting this 10,000 times thieving egg, and I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to go ahead and open it or if I want to go ahead and sell it. I might actually go out and sell it because I could use the gems actually after buying all of those mastery potions. So I might actually go ahead and do that right now. So luckily for me, somebody was actually selling these extremely under wraps, so I am gonna go ahead and open these right now. Ooh, it actually gave me an exotic one, which is actually pretty cool. Okay, so I didn't get anything out of it that was actually really beneficial other than maybe some things here and there, but that's okay because I still want to go ahead and have that chance of at least getting the diamond pick that can go ahead and help me out. But on the right side, again, you'll be able to see absolutely everything that comes out of these, which again is going to help you out in the long run, especially if you're trying to get a ton of items, potions, scrolls, stuff like that. So it's going to benefit me at the very end of the day, so I don't mind.